America is betting $20 billion on staying ahead of China in the sky, and the clock is already running out. In March of 2025, the United States Air Force awarded Boeing the largest fighter jet contract in a generation, $20 billion to build something called the F-47, the world's first sixth-generation fighter. It's designed to replace the aging F-22 Raptor, outclass everything China has in the air, and reshape how wars are fought. The name itself carries history. The original P-47 Thunderbolt was America's dominant air superiority fighter in World War II. But here's the thing. China may already be ahead. 3 numbers explain why Washington is genuinely panicking. The size of China's stealth fleet right now, the price tag that nearly killed this entire program, and the production ratio between China and America that, once you understand it, changes how you see this race entirely. To understand why Washington is making this bet, you have to understand what it's responding to. On December 26, 2024, something extraordinary happened over the city of Chengdu in southwestern China. Photos and videos appeared online showing a brand new aircraft in flight, something no one outside classified circles had ever seen before. It was a prototype 6th-generation fighter, now tentatively called the J-36. And on that same day, a second prototype from a rival Chinese manufacturer, the Shenyang J-50, was observed flying too. 2 6th-generation designs, both airborne, observed publicly on the same day. The date wasn't random. December 26th is Mao Zedong's birthday. The message was unmistakable. China wasn't just catching up. It was signaling that it intended to lead. Now compare that to where the United States stands. The F-47 hasn't flown yet. Not the production version. An experimental demonstrator has been secretly flying since around 2020, and at least 3 prototypes have taken to the air. But the actual F-47 that will enter service? Its first flight isn't expected until 2028. It won't be operational until 2029 at the earliest, and it won't reach real squadrons until the 2030s. That's a 3 to 4 year gap behind China's visible progress, and it hasn't gone unnoticed in Western defense circles. So how did the country that invented stealth aviation end up racing to keep pace? The answer starts with a decision made over a decade ago. The F-22 Raptor entered service in 2005. It was, and arguably still is, the most capable air superiority fighter ever built. But its production line shut down in 2011 after just 195 aircraft were built. 187 operational and 8 test airframes. The original plan called for 750. That number got cut to 381, then again, and finally settled at 187. The reasons were cost, over $150 million per jet, and a post-Cold War belief that such overwhelming air power simply wasn't needed anymore. Congress even banned export sales, meaning no allied nation could buy it. Only the US Air Force operates the Raptor. That decision looked reasonable for a while. Then China's J-20 entered operational service in 2017. Today, more than 300 J-20s are in service with the People's Liberation Army Air Force, with production estimated at 70 to 120 units per year and accelerating. The British Royal United Services Institute now projects that China's J-20 fleet could reach 1,000 aircraft by the early 2030s. And critically, the J-20 is now being equipped with the indigenous WS-15 engine, closing the power plant gap with Western fighters and giving China's stealth jets the thrust they've long been missing. Meanwhile, the United States still has those 187 F-22s, aging, expensive to maintain, and impossible to replace. The math is brutal. China already holds numerical superiority in heavy stealth fighters, and the gap is widening. Many analysts still believe the F-22 outperforms any rival in a one-on-one engagement. Its stealth, its sensors, its maneuverability are in a class of their own. But that kind of individual superiority matters far less when you're outnumbered. 3, 4, eventually 5 to 1. The J-20's extended range also threatens US forward bases and support aircraft, including installations along the first island chain, the string of archipelagos stretching from Japan through the Philippines that form America's first line of defense in the Pacific. In a protracted conflict, numbers matter enormously. This is the world the F-47 is being built for. Air Force Chief of Staff General David Ulvin has described it as carrying significantly longer range, more advanced stealth, higher availability, and lower operating costs than the F-22, and requiring far less manpower and infrastructure to deploy. That last point is critical. In a conflict over the Pacific, the ability to operate from remote, austere airfields beyond the first island chain, deep in contested airspace, could determine who controls the skies. The Air Force plans to buy at least 185 F-47s at roughly $300 million each. Based on pre-pause estimates that Trump has since declined to confirm publicly, that's not cheap and cost nearly killed the entire program. In May of 2024, former Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall paused development after estimates came in at roughly triple the cost of an F-35. The program was in real jeopardy. After a reassessment, it was revived and Boeing was selected. And if the F-47 actually works, it's the answer to a problem I laid out in our last video. Stealth didn't fail, it got solved. That choice of Boeing carried weight. Boeing hasn't designed a clean-sheet fighter in decades. The F-15s it builds today trace back to McDonnell Douglas, which Boeing absorbed in 1997. The F-47 is Boeing's first original fighter design to be selected, and the company committed hard to winning it. Before the contract was even announced, Boeing publicly described its preparations as the most significant investment in the history of its defense business, reportedly approaching $2 billion in expanded St. Louis facilities. That's either confidence or desperation, depending on how you read it. Boeing needs this program badly. The company has struggled across several recent military contracts. The 47 isn't just another product, it's a lifeline. The F-47 isn't meant to fight alone, though. The Air Force is building something around it, a concept called Collaborative Combat Aircraft, or CCAs, built on the principle of manned-unmanned teaming. These are autonomous drone wingmen designed to fly alongside the F-47 and multiply its effectiveness. The plan calls for at least 1,000 of these drones, roughly 2 for every F-47 and every F-35 in the force. Each CCA runs about $30 million, a fraction of the F-47's price. Two companies, General Atomics and Anduril, are building the first prototypes, with maiden flights completed in 2025. The idea is straightforward. Instead of sending a pilot into the most dangerous airspace alone, you send them in with autonomous partners that can scout, jam, carry weapons, and absorb risk. It's a fundamentally different way of thinking about air combat. The United States needs that kind of thinking because its industrial base has shrunk dramatically. During the Cold War, dozens of American companies competed in fighter design. Today, only 3 remain: Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman. Northrop dropped out of the F-47 competition entirely in 2023. The US Navy is separately developing its own 6th-generation platform under the F/A-XX program, and allies in the United Kingdom, Italy, and Japan are jointly developing their own 6th-generation fighter through the Global Combat Air Program. All of which underscores the same point. American aviation resources are stretched, and the allies are stretched alongside them. Now here's where I want to be honest with you about the research on this one. 2 reputable sources told me very different stories about the same fundamental question: can America actually catch up? The Pentagon's own December 2025 report to Congress argues China's 6th-generation aircraft won't be operational until around 2035, which gives the F-47 time to arrive first. But the Congressional Research Service, drawing on the same underlying intelligence, points out that China has already moved 2 designs into visible flight testing, while the F-47 hasn't flown yet. Same data, opposite conclusions. I don't think either side is wrong, I think we genuinely don't know yet. China, meanwhile, operates under a centralized industrial model built for rapid prototyping and sheer volume. Its aviation parent company, AVIC, could reach annual production capacity of 300 to 400 fighter aircraft. In 2025 alone, China is expected to procure up to 120 J-20s. The US Air Force that same year planned to acquire just 24 F-35s. The outgoing USAF acquisition executive, Andrew Hunter, acknowledged that China's J-36 may achieve initial operational capability before the American F-47 does. He expressed confidence, though, that the American system would ultimately produce the better aircraft. Quality over quantity, in other words. That's been America's argument for decades, and it may still hold, but the margin is shrinking. The F-47 anchors a strategy that bets everything on technological superiority, on building fewer but vastly better machines, paired with autonomous systems that can tip the numerical balance back in America's favor. Whether that bet pays off depends on execution, on whether Boeing delivers on time, on whether the drones perform as designed, and on whether a 3 to 4 year developmental lag can be closed before it actually matters. The F-47 is America's alarm clock. The question is whether it's ringing early enough. Thank you for watching this one all the way through. If you want the next chapter when it comes, I'll keep tracking the story as it actually unfolds.